Hi, welcome to Cosmic Communications. My name is Akita Carrier Aurora. We are going to be talking about the crystal pink tourmaline, as well as being the healer, right? This crystal exploration, the most recent crystal exploration that we've been going through is pink tourmaline and really stepping into the role of healing and being the healer through forgiveness and balance. So here we are. And what came up was the color frequency of magenta, right? It's that pink frequency, but not just the pink, but the frequency of magenta. So this video, we're going to tap into all of those things. Um, the pink tourmaline crystal and what symbolism that is and how that is speaking to us and the tones and sounds that we can tap into to bring forth and rise with the magenta frequency. What this beautiful magenta frequency is all about, as well as this Asclepius dragon, which really is the dragon of the healer. And not just healing, but specifically the role of the healer, the embodiment of the healer, and us really tapping into plant medicine, herbology, and shamanism, right? So using that medicine to rise into more and more of our own fulfillment of who we are, right? The whole pink tourmaline energy of balance and forgiveness, as well as the 13th constellation per se of Ophucus, right? Or Ophucius, I think that's how they pronounce it, either Ophucus or Ophucius. That has a lot to do with this dragon, right? So tapping into um, that healer aspect within you. And when I was just about as I was coming on, Spirit was reminding me that remember, we are who we seek. So as we seek healing, and we're really in this big uh container of healing in so many different aspects, especially from 2020 to now, right? And a lot of the things. And happy full moon, oh my goodness. Happy full moon in Aquarius, right? But as we are moving along this big cosmic wheel of life, right? And moving from 2020 to 2024 to 2028, something that I keep on mentioning the gates of the 4 years, it is really this energy of us stepping into being the healer, right? And not just being the healer, but seeking healing, right, of our bodies. And as we seek healing for our bodies, our minds, and spirits, we are getting to know more and more about the plant world. And a lot of us are getting into plant medicine. A lot of people around me, if they weren't into it before, they are boiling their rosemary and cutting up their ginger at night and making their blends, right? And getting on to more nutritious diets and more meal plans and vegan meal plans and cutting out certain meats and cutting out certain milks and you know what I mean? So everybody, a lot of us are on a path of healing and becoming the healer for whatever it is that we are going through individually with our bodies. That doesn't mean that we don't still have to check in with the doctor and do our annuals or whatnot, but stepping into that role of how can I be the healer for myself, right? And we all can do that. So really, that's the big container really of life, I'm thinking. Not just this season, but it's beautiful that as I pulled the 33rd crystal, that it was a crystal of forgiveness and balance in the season of Ma'at, which is also the age of this Aquarian um, energy that we are tapping into, or the guide of the Aquarian age, I should say, Lady Ma'at. is this guide of the Aquarian age. And as we wrap up the August season, what August stands for is our own independence, right? And finding out who we are, knowing thyself. So we wrap that all up and we come into this big full moon energy of Aquarius today, right? And knowing thyself. And how do we integrate that into the bigger Aquarian equation, collective equation of the world as the healer? Right? So, how do we individually heal ourselves? How do we individually integrate that into society and the collective energy of all of us becoming the healers, right? And working together collectively to heal not only ourselves, but each other, heal relationships, right? And that's the big thing of Maat, Lady Maat, our relationships being in balance. So we have a lot of relationships that need to heal, whether that is our relationship with our own mind, our own destiny, our own bodies, or our relationship within our families, within our neighborhoods, within our countries, within our workspaces, within our friendships, right? So there's so much healing to be done on so many different levels, but we as the individual must step into balance and self-forgiveness for ourselves first to offer that to other people. And that's really the big message. That's the big crystal clarity message of number 33, the 33rd crystal message. The rainbow of the healer is really forgiveness, but the root of forgiveness is balance, right? So I have so many cards and I usually separate them, but I was guided to actually come forward and do a visual video for this delivery, as well as to just kind of combine it all because it was really such a big message. And I just said, I just got to put it together. I just got to put it all together and see what stands out. See what stands out. And we'll just go from there. All right, so I really wanted to just kind of start with that, not forgetting that this is really about you becoming the healer and us all individually stepping into more knowledge of ourselves, stepping into more knowledge of the cosmos and the world around us, because that's what shamanism is all about, joining the seen and the unseen world, and then as well as um, tapping into nature, the the healing energy within plants and connecting with that. And I also was reminded today that, the plants are also a representation of our ancestors. So when we step into plant medicine, that is a very, very powerful way of not just honoring, but connecting with many of our ancestors, right? Within that plant realm, all right? And shamanism really helps you to really tap into all of that, the nature of plants and the nature of our ancestors being one. Okay, so just something else for you to, if it's a spark for you, for something else for you to go and discover for yourself as healers. Remember, we are seeking we are what we're seeking. So if you are seeking some type of healing within your world, that means the universe is now asking you to ascend into really becoming a healer and not to seek that healing outside of yourself, but within yourself, within your own journey, within your own shedding, within your own shining, within your own realization, right? Within your own light and within your own shadows. That is where we find the healing. And the beautiful energy of this card too, it has the green energy, which I'm pulling into as not just health and plant medicine, but also abundance, right? So that energy of growth and plants and health, as well as the crown and heart, the green, as well as the crown chakra here with the purple, right? And that also being one of the colors, Lady Matte, not just the pink tourmaline, but that royal purple, right? And the pink and the purple becoming that magenta. So of these aspects coming into one, right? Using our crown chakra and using our hearts, right? And using our knowledge of nature to become the healer of our lives, right? All right, so this is where we are. And this was crystal number 33. So that has its own significance, right? Crystal number 33, as well as just that number 33. And three is always about being that catalyst, right? So 3 plus 3 is 6. So just think of all that new creation catalyzing coming towards us. And that's where we're gonna start. Let's start with the animal because one of the animal spirits that came up, and like I said, I'm combining all of these videos together or all of these files together and just seeing how I'm guided to bring this information forth. So let's start with that catalyst energy with the animals that came out. And well, the lion is first and foremost because we're in August season, and that lion is always calling us to rise up and to come into our higher self. What was coming to me a lot, um, actually since the 22nd, was the white lion, and that's why the white lion is behind me. That energy of the white lion as well as the white elephant. So I was really tapping into this white frequency with the spirit guides or with the animal guides, and the white lion came through to me strongly, and the elephants have been coming to me strongly. So I was really guided to just pull this information forth from the lions and the elephants, right? And then I picked from the cards, and then we got the raccoon, which is the inventor, and the penguin, which is being authentic. So that combined message, right, I thought was beautiful, of tapping into our higher self, rising up, being our great selves. So let me read these messages. So first off, the higher calling, the lion, it says, you have within you all the courage you need. Let go of the past and reclaim your majesty. You will find success and contentment with those by your side. Make noble choices for your life and your tribe. So, this is a beautiful reminder that as we ascend, as we move through August, as we go into September, as we rise, we just have gone through this beautiful Lion's Gate, and then we had another 817, and we also have another 826 where we could tap into that 888 energy of our infinite nature and really what that really means to us individually and how we want to step into and honor us being eternal beings, right? And us being infinite, right? So, and our higher calling, and always having that opportunity to step up, step up, step up into our higher callings, right? So, where do you step up next to? Where do you step up next in the ascension of yourself? Where are you going next, right? What doors are opening up to you this year for you to climb? What ladders are you climbing? And where are you going? Where are we going next? Where are you going next? Okay. And the yellowfin has come in to remind us of our greatness. And it says, love is your strength. Beautiful synchronicity because it's, again, August, the Leo heart, right? And we're also talking about being in balance and self forgiveness. So our heart is our strength, right? However, that is, whatever we are embracing with our heart or whatever we are resisting with our heart, it all goes through the heart, right? So the heart is central to our being and to really our reality, right? So love is your strength, leadership is your path. Your wisdom inspires everyone you meet. You can overcome any problem and you will naturally and easily achieve success. So let's remember that, that we have these beautiful animal spirits. We have the lion that we can always walk with and the elephant. What was coming to me a couple of weeks has been the elegant elephant. Spirit was just whispering that to me, the elegant elephant. And it was like it's like a paradox, right? Because the elephant is heavy, but it also represents our elders and our ancestors, right? So it was like the elegant elephant. It was, the elephant is grand, but to walk lightly in that grandness of yourself, right? So the elegant elephant has been speaking to me for I think for about a month, for about a month now, reminding me of the greatness, right? So I just wanted to walk lightly and gently with that. Be elegant, step elegantly as you walk as an elephant, as you walk within your greatness, to walk gently and elegantly, and that gentleness has been coming in too with the pink tourmaline energy, right? They're reminding us all to be gentle and to be gentlemen, right? That theme has been coming back and back and back, to be gentle in our healing, to be gentle in our growth, to be gentle in our shedding and our rising, to allow that gentleness to come back to us as a strength, right? All right, so those messages from the elephants and the lions, and then the penguin and the raccoon, the inventor, and to be authentic, right? So that's a beautiful combination, to rise, to remember our greatness, to go into your higher calling, remember your greatness, but to use that to invent, to create, because we are creators and inventors. And in creating and inventing, we have to be authentic, right? To step into our true authenticity. Again, August is a month of awareness and authenticity. So the penguin comes out to remind you to be creative, invent something, but use your authenticity as we create all of this new things and the things that we like and that we like to do. So the reminders are the raccoon, the inventor. It says, decide on what you really want. You have the integrity to claim it. Avoid being the trickster and practice integrity. You have many roles and can juggle them. So again, don't get caught up in our vices, remembering to be true and honest as we invent, remembering what is it that we love, what brings us joy, and to really go with that. And that we don't have to be the trickster. Literally, you can just be open, honest, transparent. And that clarity is really, again, this card says love is your strength, the clarity. And again, crystal clarity, being clear and and precise and direct is a power. A friend said to me the other day, yeah, you're very direct with your words. And I've learned to be direct. That has become one of my healing powers, to be very direct with my words, right? So as we invent or reinvent ourselves or reinvent this experience of life, to not be afraid, to be very clear and transparent and direct, and to use that in order to do what you do, but do it in a way of high integrity, right? There are no mistakes, there are no trip ups. You are who you are, right? And then it says to be authentic, the penguin. And the penguin comes in to say, reach out to your tribe in times of need. Family gives you strength, and when you face the storm, family gives you strength when you face the storm. It reminds you to love your uniqueness. You are full of surprises. Break free from others' expectations and to just be yourself. So be the penguin, be you, right? And reach out to your family if you need it. It's interesting that it says the year of the storm. One of the things I love doing is calendars, and I always say, be mindful of not the company, but the calendar that you keep. And one of the calendars that I work closely with is the Mayan Galactic Calendar, and it starts on July 26th of every year. And this year is the year of the storm, right? And the storm is a very powerful energy to create with, as well as to see and know our strength. So it doesn't scare me that this is a year of the storm, because I know what to do and how to handle that energy and how to weave and catalyze within that storm energy. But it says here, you know, in times of the storm to connect with your tribe and family. And that's so important, right? That's reminding us that when we go through stormy patterns to connect with those that strengthen us, right? And that can help us to be resilient. Whatever that is for you, whomever that is for you, your tribe, your family, right? Family comes in all nature and forms, right? And it says breaking free from other people's expectations and really just learning to be yourself. So again, in this container of healing and the healer and coming into balance and forgiveness, hey, authenticity. There's, you know, there was a trending uh thought a couple months ago that I think it was coming in a lot with the solar eclipse. And it was saying, you know, that authenticity is actually a higher frequency than love, right? And that's really where we all should be gearing towards, really finding that power within ourselves to just be our authentic selves, right? And if you haven't gotten that yet, to keep on climbing that ladder to be authentic and finding out what is my authenticity. There's different, I guess, stages of that. Is one, finding your authenticity and then allowing and embracing your authenticity. And I think that's definitely the path that one journeys through, you know, finding ourselves. Who am I? And then allowing ourselves to be that which you have discovered within yourself, that you have buried, and now saying, all right, I'm not bearing this anymore. It's time to shine. And that's also that Leo energy as well, being your independent, authentic self and being fully aware of both that shadow and that light that you hold, the penguin, the black and the white of it all, and loving yourself fully through that, right? The balance. All right. So those were the animal spirits. And I think I kind of zoomed zoomed through those quickly. And now we're gonna get into a little more depth, right? Because remember, again, it's the healer. So all of this is in a container of stepping into your individual healer self, right? What do I do to come into balance? And really, that's what healing is, right? It's not somebody giving you something to make you feel better. It's actually, uh, and that would, anyway, it's not something. So, and I was going to say that would be the placebo, but I don't want to get so into all of that. But it's the healer is really, you know, going to the root of the issue and removing it and then building something new from that. Or we actually heal from something as opposed to just being uh, symptomized, right? You heal from the root as opposed to just taking care of the symptoms, right? So, um, that journey of stepping into healer reconnects a lot of dots, right? We are looking at the signs and the symbols of life, and all of this is carrying that magenta frequency. We step into being self fulfilled. We know that we have to expand. We know that we have to connect. And we know that we have to be compassionate. So let's get into it all. And I'm going to have to put my glasses on for this one because one of the things that has transpired is that my eyes, I put in contacts and I can see less. But in perfect synchronicity, my readers have magenta. So let's get into it. All right. And we were talking about the calendars that we keep, right? Two things I want to mention because calendars are just a very, very important part of my life. I mentioned the Mayan calendar, and it's starting July 26th of every year. And we're in a new wave spell now, which is a new calendar year, which is the year of the storm. Um, we also have the Kemet and the African calendar coming in, and I've been waiting for this for a long, long, long time. And now they have the book in the English version. So I'm just wanna I just wanna forth how important it is with calendars and the calendars that we choose. I was saying that the old saying is, you know, be careful of the company that you keep. But for years, I've been saying, be careful of the calendar that you keep. So as a timekeeper and a cosmic communicator, I do have to, as well as we're rising up into this new age, I do have to bring forth the importance of using different calendars and be cautious of the calendar that you keep, because the calendar that you keep is speaking to your soul and your higher self every single day. So don't be afraid to tap into a new calendar, or when I say a different calendar, because these are the original and ancient calendars, really, they're not new at all. But don't be afraid to let go of those old calendars, older calendars, and embrace the more ancient and original calendars that are tied into and united with the universe and then the universal laws. Okay. So I just have to bring that forth before we step into this all of this energy of being the weavers and dreamers of our own existence. And again, I bring this information straight from the decks because it's really, once I pick the crystal, it's really me going through my many decks and just seeing what cards I think will really support the energy that is coming through the crystal message. All right. So let's start with being the dreamer and the weaver and what that means. I wish I listen, I had so many beautiful birthday gifts. I need to put that right there. Gonna plug another one of my creations, porcelain aromatherapy. This is a birthday gift. Yeah. Let's just leave that right there. And I can make her a little higher. Up, up, up. Yep, yep, yep. Oh, yeah. Let's get into it. All right. So the first card we're going to look at that has this magenta and pink frequency again is becoming a dreamer and a weaver. And this is weaving and dreaming and connecting and putting all things together and creating your own destiny in life, right? All right. So, oops, or maybe I'll just do it first one I come across. Okay, so let's start with that. Page 80. All right. So I dream, I connect. Synchronicity, overview, vision, dreamer, intuitive leaps, integrity, connection. Do you see how these themes just keep on coming back around? It says the Weaver archetype reminds you that you are a conscious dreamer, dreaming your reality into being. Make intuitive leaps in your decisions at this time. What do you want to dream up? Be willing to take a risk and make choices from inside your dream as if it were already realized. Pay attention to the synchronicities, seeming coincidences happening in your life. They indicate that there is a larger pattern of work of which you are an intrinsic part of. Zoom. Oh my goodness, that's even, I can't even say I just zoomed I just zoomed by that. And that's a synchronistic happening right now, right? This Zoom, the word Zoom coming into even this delivery. So that tells me now, as the synchronicity is happening, that I need to tap into that Zoom word. And my mind is guiding me to look at the numerology of that word too. And that's what I'm going to do when I finish taping all of this. All right. So anyway, go back to it. It says zoom the camera lens of your awareness out to the overview of your concern or query. This is not a time to take out your microscope to look at the details of the situation. Meditate, run, sing, and dance. do whatever puts you in an expanded state of awareness. But it is time to have a parabolic view of yourself and your issue from the most expanded perspective, your essence, your soul can access. So expand out. So don't look small because you can zoom in or you can zoom out, right? Right? So zoom out, right? And expand. It's all about expansion and connecting to our bigger self. The 15th chakra was coming in a lot as this August energy rolled through too. And that whole 15th chakra is about tapping into your monad and you now being ready to zoom out to the larger message of your own spiritual journey, right? And step into that. So again, zooming out, it's calling us to zoom out, right? So consider who you may have been dreaming up in your reality by holding a fixed picture of them. How could you see them differently to assist in their actually being different? Zoom out. Notice in your daily life what and who it is that you are connecting to. The observation leads to noticing larger mythic patterns unfolding. Receiving this card is a call to consider describing your day to day ego self in a more mythic, larger than life way. You are becoming a weaver, a conscious dreamer. Waken within the dream of your life. Start noticing that you are dreaming while you are dreaming. I like that. Pay attention to your dreams. In them, you will find connections, metaphor, woven clues that offer deep insight about your authentically desire to be and do at this time. Sorry, let me read that again. Pay attention to your dreams. In them, you will find connections, metaphors, woven clues that offer deep insight about what you authentically desire to be and to do at this time in your life. If at the time of this reading you find yourself stuck in a sticky web of entanglements, untangle. This card challenges you to integrity in all your actions and communications. Hello. I didn't even know that. The raccoon is reminding us all to be in, I keep on saying integrous, but to walk with integrity, right? To walk with integrity. And that is such a powerful and trending reminder because it comes up a lot. Walk with integrity in this new age, in this new path, this new era. Balance, but balance with integrity. That was coming in from last year, that message of integrity. It's not going anywhere. And you could see all of the sludge around us and the corruption. And it needs integrity. The leaders need integrity. The whole process needs more integrity, right? So as we observe, know that that is what is calling in here to be inventors, and again, to invent with integrity, to create with integrity, to lead with integrity, and really that's what's lacking because all of what we're seeing is corruption. So what's lacking is this integrity, right? And leadership with integrity. So it just keeps on coming back in as a message and reminder for all of us. All right. So this is the card challenges you to integrity in all of your actions and communications. The Weaver Dreamer proffers integrity is a vulnerability that disguises nothing. Be lucid in truth. Dream your life awake. Remember to consciously affirm, I dream, I connect. And this beautiful journey of life has really taught me that when I'm dreaming and then I wake up, that it continues. I live the dream and I dream the dream. Whatever I am experiencing in my dream realm, I bring that forward. And literally that's why my mornings are so sacred. I say to a lot of people in my small circle, sometimes I'll message them early and they're like, you're up, because they're so used to me being a late sleeper. But I always say the best kept secret is I'm up from about 7 a.m. every morning. The world doesn't see me or hear from me because that is my quiet time. And that's when I'm actually connecting my dream with my current 3D life. And I really connect that and I walk that bridge every morning, connecting that together. And sometimes there's a lot and sometimes there's a little, but I live the dream and I walk the dream and I awake the dream. So connect it all and I weave the dream together. And that is what I've learned to do, right? To connect and to weave in order to create the destiny that I want to experience. Okay. All right. So let's now go into synchronicity because it's connected, right? We had a lot of synchronicity in that with just the integrity word integrity as well as zooming out, right? So now let's go into the magenta code herself as and see what all of this synchronicity and the language of synchronicity and what that really is all about. All right. All right. Just earmarking these other pages that I'll come back to since I'm passing. I might be going in the opposite direction, but it's okay. Lots of compassion. I'll come back to that one. Mhm. Okay, we'll go the other way. Okay, as I train back. Mhm. All right, the oracle for the frequency of magenta. Yeah, expansiveness, connection, destiny, new choices, limitlessness, and non-fixity. All right. So you see that doorway between, or that connection between being a weaver and when we become this weaver and connecting ourselves to the larger picture and using that to then step into our destiny and create our destiny, right? And come into new choices and new timelines and our limitlessness, right? Receiving this magenta frequency counsels you to pay attention to the synchronicities in your daily life experiences that are leading to your destiny unfolding. Begin to pay attention to underlying connections between apparently unrelated events, revealing themselves as the higher symbolic coding of your destiny, unrolling like a magic carpet. Be watchful for powerful tingling, deja vu feelings that are indicators of companions of destiny showing up. Utilize this expansive frequency in your attire or environment to evoke all its gifts, especially connection and limitedlessness. Magenta is made from the merger of two extremes of light spectrum, red and purple, symbolic of the connection of what may appear to be different. This card points to the timelines of creativity, connecting unusual combinations of people, ideas, events, or whatever wants to be woven into a more expansive vision of what is possible in your life. Receiving this magenta frequency is a call to identify what is apparently limiting your choices at this time. How and with what belief system are you holding your reality hostage in limitation? This asks you, like the element of air, to release the limits by becoming more fluid in your way that you hold your reality. You are a dreamer. You are being invited to weave a new dream tapestry of your life and the powerful threads of new choices. Visualize yourself in this magenta frequency and ask how to make choices in the light of who you authentically. Listen, I don't make this stuff up, just create it. I just follow the guidance. The authentically, who are you authentically, and weaving that, connecting that into the more expanded version of yourself, right? Um, Visualize yourself in this magenta frequency and ask how to make choices in the light of who you authentically are in your expanded essence. In regard to your query, remember the fluidity of Alice in Wonderland. Though it certainly appears otherwise, nothing is fixed. We are actually living in a quantum reality where everything adjusts to the micro movements of everything else. Have you become fixed and thus unable to see the myriad of options around you? Myriad of options. Where did I go? Uh, have become fixed and thus unable to see the myriad of options that present themselves. When you relax and open, new possibilities flow into your awareness, grinning with satisfaction like the Cheshire cat. I love that. Listen, this cat was looking at me yesterday when I pulled up, and I'm like, it's always staring at me. There you go. What is revealed about what you are presently genuinely feeling by looking through the lens of the frequency of magenta. Yay! I love magenta. It is my soul frequency. And this was all synchronistic that it came out as my 33rd crystal message, the crystal of August, and the tone and the color. Because when one of the most potent moments of my life is when I just sat in silence and I said, God, just show me who I am. Just show me who I am. And when I opened my eyes, all I saw was this magenta light. And that is why the magenta energy is so powerful and means so much to me, because that was the answer I received when I asked, who am I? God said, you are magenta, and showed me that light. And I just continued to walk with that knowledge and experience myself as a magenta code and weave myself into that um, that essence of who I am, and continue to build on learning that facet of myself. And no one gave me that. That was strictly a conversation between me and God. And that was the answer that I received. And it served me so well. And that was in 2019, which was a very expansive year for me on my spiritual journey. A lot was rooted in me in 2019 that I was able to continue to grow with even into this moment right now. All right, so let's continue along this magenta path. And something is telling me to go into the loom, the connection again, connecting it all, right? Because you see the connectivity with all of this, you know, you connect, you know, you see where how you're connected into the bigger thing, and you weave all of that into it. You're weaving the synchronicities, and the synchronicities are giving you signs towards your now as well as to your future. And then the sacred tool of the loom. Sorry, magic. The sacred tool of the loom. Uh, Again, expansion, larger view, vision, present moment, groundedness, right? So there's two aspects of it. It's having all of these synchronicities happening around us to, again, in this container of healing and balance, we're still, because that's the destination for a lot of people. I want to heal, whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, right? I want to heal. I want to come into wholeness, right? Uh, who am I? What did I come here for? All of these unanswered questions. That's coming into your wholeness, coming into your healing, right? picking up what was lost, the lost and found, right? So to be found and to be complete, right? So as we experience all these synchronicities and signs, and I have a friend who says, "What does it mean every time I see 111 or 222 or 333?" And I'm like, "It's telling you something." But it's telling you based on what you're asking. You know what I mean? It's not telling you one thing. It's so the question really isn't what it's telling you. I always have to say to her, "Well, what are you asking for?" Then we can consider what it is that these synchronicities and codes are telling her, right? So it is uh, being aware, again, an August energy, awareness, authenticity, right? So it's about and being and attuning to what is happening around you, right? So it's about being aware of what do I want, connecting that with the synchronicities that you see, and then using that not only just to weave your future, but also to be grounded in what is happening right now in your life so that you can actually see where you are and then decide, oh, and I'm here. Now let me go there. I've reached this point. So now it's time for this next point. Or I've reached this point. So this is what I do. And because I'm here now, I don't need to be so focused on the second point because I just need to ground in where I'm at right now, right? And in a personal way, in 2020, I studied shamanism, and for the past 4 years, I've been grounding myself in that journey of studying shamanism and embodying a shaman and allowing shamanism to have its way with me, taking and walking that path of shamanism. And now in 2024, I have tapped into a lot of synchronicities, and those synchronicities are helping to guide me into where I'm going next. But being grounded in what I've been learning and embodying and studying over the past 4 years is very important, right? So we use it to ground ourselves in the now, but as well as to see where we are destined and divined to go in the future, right? Divine timing is, I usually say, is the only clock I use. It's divine timing. All right, so let's get into this whole loom and connecting it all together. All right, because this is really the journey of the magenta. We have to be able to do all of these things. See the synchronicities, connect it all together. Um, Trust the now moments. A friend said to me yesterday, I need to call you when I'm stressing out because you always get, you always just tell me to trust it and it works out. And I said, mm-hmm, because that's the story of my life. It always works out no matter what's coming, no matter how scary it looks. I know I've learned that it works out. I just need to ground myself in the moment, knowing that it has come to teach me or strengthen me or reward me. Trust it. All right, so let's go. The loom is a symbol of the structural matrix, the weaving of time and space that we call reality. On this loom, everything is connected. Receiving this card in your reading indicates that you would be served in looking at the larger view, loom of your life. So that again, the synchronicity again, tapping into the largeness of our life. Again, that 15th dimension, the 15th chakra, we're going to the next level. Okay. Right? Looking at ourselves in a more expanded view. And that's going to mean different things to different people. For some people, it might mean, hey, I'm no longer looking at myself as a victim. I'm looking at myself as a survivor. I'm not looking at myself no, anymore as a survivor. I'm looking at myself as a thriver. I'm not looking at myself as a student. I'm looking at myself as a master. Whatever it is, it's going, or teacher, it's going from one phase to another, opening up, expanding, zooming out, and stepping into who you are now. Okay? So perhaps you have become too busy, over focused on work or self. This is a time to reach out and make connections, to be woven in the loom of your expanded vision and purpose. leading you to companions of destiny who share your vision. Again, that Aquarius energy, that Leo energy of the individual fitting into the collective, the Aquarius energy, full moon in Aquarius, right? So how does that individual find its place within the collective in a big expanded way? Not the old self, the new self. Okay. As a weaver, how can you weave yourself as a lucid thread in the larger dream that is unfolding? And where the larger dream that is unfolding is the age of Aquarius. So, how do you fit yourself into this beautiful new age of Aquarius and all of that is, right? Uh, the presence of this energy in your reading is a call in your daily life to connect with your visionary perspective while also being mindful of staying grounded. Again, not just looking, hey, where am I 10 years from now, but connecting that to who am I being today? And how does who am I being today get me to what I want to experience 10 years from now? What I'm doing today was completely seeded in 2020. It didn't happen by accident. I seeded it and then I traveled that my own web. I navigated through my own web, right? To get me to here, to get me to this transmission, to get me to this video. I would not have done this 4 years ago, but today I can do that. I can embody this being and bring this message forth. uh, Visionaries, artists, and other expanded beings who routinely hold a non-linear, fluid perspective often experience this archetype shadow of disconnection and difficulty setting appropriate boundaries. If you receive this card in your reading, find ways to create appropriate boundaries. And that was a big message also with the pink tourmaline, right? Safe boundaries. Because again, it's also talking about, again, the Leo energy and the solar plexus of the having relationships in balance with Matt, right? So how do we have those balanced relationships? We can't do it without our solar plexus. And well, my beautiful cup is, but we can't do it without that solar plexus energy, right? That lion energy. And that lion energy is not also about the heart of the lion, but that that roar of the lion. And that roar of the lion says, don't approach me. Stay away. This ain't too safe, you know? So those are barriers and boundaries that we must put up in order to have safe growth and expansion. All right. Um and balanced relationships. Uh I'm skipping and jumping. If you receive this card in your reading, find ways to create appropriate boundaries as you intentionally embody the state of consciousness implied by the womb. You will find yourself freed within structure and form rather than confined by it. I love that. Ground your energy through loving attention to your body with some physical form of dance or movement. Do you get caught up in repeatedly cycling patterns of emotional reaction like a fly in a web? If you are fearful or focused outside of the present moment, you may not notice the synchronous clues being offered in your daily life that magically point you in a direction of your connection to the whole shebang. Drawing this card is a reminder for you to practice mindfulness when you react by reweaving the choice to breathe instead, becoming more rather than less vulnerable. In this choice, you are consciously choosing to expand your energy into love. There is only expansion and contraction on your way to full consciousness. Choosing fear, you contract. Choosing love, you expand. simple choices have profound consequences. And boy, isn't that true, right? So breathe in, breathe out. I'm always saying that, right? Breathe in, breathe out, expand, constrict. Um, and our choices matter, right? It says simple choices have profound consequences. Just seeing how everything is connected, you know? So again, this beautiful magenta energy is so multidimensional. It is not just one color, it's a couple colors. They said red and purple. I want to put blue in there too. I think there's some blue hue that gets it into that depth, you know. Seeing yourself not in the present but in the future, but being grounded in your present to allow that expansion, to erect your safe barriers and borders, to have these healthy relationships. You know, it's you know, the magenta code is multi-layered. You know, it really is when you come into a fullness and understanding the depths and the layers of thyself, to know thyself in an intimate way, and to be vulnerable enough to just kind of like bear it all and see what it all means. So it's so many different things, right? And one of the things I've learned and loved this journey of knowing thyself is that we are so many things. Don't allow yourself to just be in one small box. You know, see yourself as so many things. Hence why my backdrop is now a cosmic communicator. And I will also be launching a channel called Cosmic Communications, you know, because we are so many different things. And this is one of the titles that I'm now crowning myself with, as being a cosmic communicator. All right. So let's continue down the path. Again, expansion. Magenta is all about expansion as well as fulfillment. So let's go into that. Um, we see the sun, we have the dreams, we connect it all together, weaving it. We're being grounded in the future. We're connecting, we're being grounded in the present. We're connecting it to the future. We're becoming, we're allowing our multidimensional self and all our parts and colors to be seen, and we expand, right? And that whole thing is expansion. And these are the common themes, right? I haven't even read the bottom. Synchronicity, overview, vision, dreamer, intuitive leaps, integrity, connections, expansiveness, connections, destiny, new choices, limitless, non-fixity. So we have to be adaptable and we have to be open to changing. And remember, the pink tourmaline was all about being able to handle seasons of growth and change with gentleness, right? So that adaptability and fixability comes into play. And knowing, hey, we might need to fix some things, you know, in order to move forward. Or non-fixity, meaning not being fixed in your ways, right? Leo is a fixed sign. So allowing yourself to adapt to different changes as needed is very important in this August energy. Don't be resistant against what you really need to allow the change to happen, right? And then again, in expansion, feel, respond, presence, open, sensitive, generosity, gratefulness. So this is the heart. This is the sacred tool of the sensing. And this is where that heart nature comes in again, that lion heart, right? And also that authenticity is, how do I feel about this? And can I trust my feelings? And yeah, let me trust my feelings. And I would say again, our feelings are funny, right? And that's why the shadow work is important, the light and the dark, because your feelings can get you caught up, you know, and we go through the checking ourselves and the awareness of our feelings and why we're feeling this way. And is it a feeling of light or is it a feeling of density? And is this a feeling I need to hold on to, or is this a feeling that I need to um, unfold and transform and grow out of? Is this a feeling that I need to release in order to shine, in order to come into healing and wholeness? You know what I mean? So feelings can get you caught up. That's just, that's a real thing. But the whole essence of becoming a healer and stepping into that cauldron of healing is that as we as we clear out those old, tired, uh, misserved feelings, self-sabotaging feelings, feelings of unworthiness, feelings of inferiority, feelings of crazy shit, lack of a lot of words. Um, as I clear those out, I can now trust my feelings, as well as sometimes whatever you're feeling is just indicating to you where you're at. And that clarity and that acceptance is also important, So I like on sometimes I'll just say, well, what do you feel about this right now? Like if it's Friday the 13th, are you scared? Are you still scared about Friday the 13th? Are you still holding fear with that number? That's a real feeling, and maybe that feeling is an indication that that program needs to be released within your universe, right? How are you feeling about men and women and masculine and feminine relationship? If that's where you're at, then some of us have to be just very clear about our feelings as well as other people's feelings and accept that so that we can see them clearly and see ourselves, right? So that, like I said, feelings are a really good indicator, but you also have to have that uh, wider, expansive view to really not get caught up on your feelings as well as somebody else's, right? Kind of put those feelings in perspective. And again, that's tapping into having that higher perspective as well as just knowing to connect that feeling to something. Our feelings don't stand on their own, they're connected to something. So, is your feeling connected to something negative or connected to something positive? That's self-awareness. All right. So that's how our feelings can help us and be indicators to our healing journey. Which way you going is how you're feeling. Okay, so let's get into this whole feelings aspect. To feel, to respond, to presence, to open, to sensitize, to be generous, to be grateful. If you receive this card in your reading, you are being asked to look at the issue of expansion. Are you presently heads down with a microscopic viewpoint in the ego mind? Drawing this card is a call to expand your awareness. See, all of these things are coming back. Awareness, authenticity, and attunement, just tapping into all of these stuff. All of this is a part of the magenta code, right? We're rising our awareness. We're rising within our authenticity. We're arising within our awareness, authenticity, attunement to all of these things around us and within us, right? So our feelings matter. Drawing this card is a call to expand your awareness of feelings in your relationship to self and another. Lady Matt, that's that balance. Although the senses are designed to train consciousness in continual expansion, we are culturally conditioned to seek the limiting experience of fulfillment of desire. Through the divine feminine lens, the bliss that arises from desire is intended to expand the mind to overcome limitation. And that's very important too right now because really in the big picture, we also remember we're moving towards more of the feminine nature of being. We're releasing the toxic masculine. We are embracing the divine feminine, and we're coming into balance with that. So there's no one is better than the other, but we're coming into balance with that, as opposed to the submissive feminine or repressed feminine. We're going to the divine feminine. And from the toxic male, we're going to, I would say, the gentleman, right? So there's this balancing of left and right within us, of the divine, moving from the oppressed to the divine, and moving from the um intolerant to the gentleman, if that makes any sense, right? So we're coming into balance with both masculine and femininity within ourselves as well as outside. Well, that's what we're being asked to come into balance with, the age of Aquarius. That harmony, not just outside ourselves, but within our own masculine and feminine natures within ourselves. And again, bringing those polarities into the body in a way. Again, the shaman, the plant medicine, the healer, uh, the masculine, the solar plexus energy, and the sacral, the feminine energy. So those two vortexes within our own self, the solar plexus, the masculine chakra, the Leo chakra, the sun chakra, your inner sun, the solar plexus, and then the womb, sacral chakra, the feminine, the waters, right? The maternal waters. So that balance again, our creation, the womb, we create through the womb, and we build structure with the divine masculine. So again, the water, structure, the wisdom and the structure, the feminine and the masculine, coming into balance within yourself. All right. Mm. All right. So, uh, through the divine feminine lenses, the bliss that arises from desire is intended to expand the mind to overcome limitation, whereas the sensory pleasure that comes from contact with desirable objects can narrow attention and lead to obsession for more and better pleasure. In other words, without expanded awareness, the senses can lead to entrapment in form. And we see that all around us as well. The pendulum always swings to both ends. And that's something to remember too, like we're always moving along up the pendulum of life. And sometimes what we are observing is the extreme, and then, sometimes I say to people, well, wait till the pendulum goes towards the middle. Because sometimes we are at the far right and sometimes we are at the far left, but it does come into balance, right? So in observation, we can just say, well, what, the pendulum is at the far right point. Because the pendulum is at the far right point, I can add something into this formula that brings it more and more into balance through my energy. And that's what life is all about too, not really judging, but making that observation and then seeing, okay, well, if this is the case, how can I bring more balance into this whole bigger equation, so this card is an invitation to look with scrutiny at whether your use of the senses is generally expanding or contracting your awareness. To become a sensory adept requires an open heart. It is a vibrational master switch to all channels of perception. And as I was writing the crystal message for this, it was like Spirit was like, yeah, your heart is your central intelligence, your CIA, right? Your central intelligence agent. That is what really dictates, that has the eyes open on everything, right? But it's what eye are we seeing it with? So if we realize that the heart is your spy, or your super agent that can really help you to see beyond and within, way beyond anybody else's so-called blocks, right? And allow you to really tap in and to see through illusions, right? That secret agent. and really to see with clarity what's going on. But a lot of our hearts are weak. So when we look, we're not looking with clarity, right? So become a sensory adept requires an open heart as it is a vibrational master switch to all channels of perception. How open is your heart? Consciously walking in the world with an open heart is a sign of mastery. One of the greatest gifts of senses is that they can bring us into full presence in the moment, staying lost in thought when someone is rubbing your shoulders or while tasting a bite of freshly baked apple pie would be an insult to the present moment and those in it. Likewise, receiving this card is a call for your sensitive presence. Is there someone in your query that is longing for your full presence and loving response? To what or whom would you be served in being more present, generous, and sensitive? Intimacy and love flourish in these conditions. If you have been spending a lot of time in the mental realms, this card invites you to take time to stop to enjoy the cornucopia of the senses. If you desire material manifestation, remember that gratitude and generosity naturally attract abundance. Generosity inherently magnetizes divine love towards fulfillment. The message is to expand. And a beautiful message, right? So again, we jump now to the next one, fulfillment. The code is really beautiful though. Trust me, this truly is the journey of those that carry the magenta code. It really is this is really the path, and it's uh and because I've walked it, I truly understand it. I can see it that way. When I got this deck, and I think this is the first deck I bought to make this story so full circle. I think this was, oh, this is the second deck I bought. First deck I bought was a tarot deck. Yes. And this was my first Oracle deck that I got in 2020. I think I bought it in 2020. And this accompanies the galactic calendar. I got all into all of this because of me studying the Mayan galactic calendar. And I'm waiting for both of these calendars. Speaking again of the calendars, I'm waiting for two more calendars to come in. This calendar here, I'm sorry, this calendar here in English, as well as the new galactic calendar. So I'm waiting for my two new calendars to arrive. So I'm very excited about that. Anyway, back to fulfillment. So this is where we're at, fulfillment, being fulfilled in our own authenticity and our own artistry, our own creativity, present moment, open hearted feelings, embracing and welcoming the frequency of pink. Okay. So, again, like I said, this magenta is a combination of pinks and purples, and I just say blue. It has some blue in there because guess what? It comes through the blue right through August. Hello. So we gotta have some blue in there. It comes in through the whole channel of, the blue energy, the blue ray, if you understand the rays, and the first ray, which is the blue ray. And hey, and that's August energy as well. So it has that depth. All right. All right. So let's go into this fulfillment card. I remember we started with um the serious energy with in July and coming into the August energy with that serious energy, which is that blue ray, right? So just tying all of that again, the colors, the multidimensionality, um, pinks, the reds, the purples, the blues, it all coming into a beautiful hue of magenta because it's so many different things. It's not just one thing. And again, as we step into this whole bigger than self, we have to see how many different things we are inside of us. It's not just one thing, and you have to be able to well, not have to be able to, but it's the joy, really the joy of putting all of that of yourself together that you held separate. And that's really a beautiful process. All right. The oracle for the frequency of pink, fulfillment. present moment, open-hearted feelings, embracing and welcoming. Fulfillment is implied in being fully present, in the present moment. Though we have been conditioned to think otherwise, each moment is complete within itself. And that's that nine energy, complete. If you seek fulfillment, and that's where we're going next year with 2025, let's just see, this is my visionary coming in. We're also traveling from an 8 to a 9 energy as well. We're going from 8 August to 9 September. So again, coming into that completeness, that foundness within ourselves, that balance within ourselves, right? Though we have been conditioned to think otherwise, each moment is complete in itself. If you seek fulfillment, it will elude you, as each fulfilled desire will simply be supplanted by a new one. True, like when you finish something, it's like, what next, right? Only the present moment holds actual fulfillment. In what ways do you avoid the vulnerability of being fully present in the moment? Be willing to observe what you think or do that may be unconsciously, sorry, creating obstacles to being present. Drawing this pink frequency into your reading invites you to become more responsive to both your own feelings and the feelings of others. Is there someone to whom you have closed your heart in contraction or fear? Receiving this card is a powerful call to risk vulnerability, reopening your heart, even if you are afraid to. The love that is spoken of here is not love with conditions. I will love you if. Rather, you are being called into a more expansive love that sees the divine in every face. You are being invited to embody unconditional love, not as a concept, but as a living reality. Tangibly express unconditional love to someone, perhaps just in a smile to a stranger. Oh, so this is synchronistic because when emails just came out and you put that signature at the bottom, my signature, my tagline was the gift, oh, give the gift of your smile. Yeah, give the gift of your smile. Yeah, to a stranger, like literally give the gift of your smile, because that would be so powerful sometimes. You just smile at somebody and they'd be like, oh, you have such a beautiful smile. And sometimes your smile really can make somebody else feel nice, loved, beautiful, whatever. So remember that just a smile actually is a gift. As well as it's very hard uh to smile and be mad. So like sometimes even if you're upset, like you have to force your face to smile. It's kind of difficult to do it. I mean, it comes through a long way, and there's a lot of fakeness in the in the world now. So maybe we're better at being fake. But um, smile, give the gift of your smile to a stranger, and sometimes even to yourself. You know. Um, Again, synchronicities. uh, Tangibly express unconditional love to someone, perhaps just a smile to a stranger. Whether you feel fulfilled or separate and alone in this moment, stop and consciously breathe into your being the unconditional pink fire that burns in your own heart. Oh, love thyself. Love thyself. Mm. Whether you feel I just said that. Recognize this etheric inner fire as the as the central flame of the triple flame of love, wisdom, and power that burns in the heart of every human being. Feel its power to open. Use this pink frequency in your attire, jewelry, and living space to create a feeling of open-hearted, welcoming embrace. Remember, our hearts either embrace or resist. It's up to us. The frequency says no matter what is going on in your life, you can come into your own heart temple where you are always welcomed into the arms of unconditional love. What is revealed about what you are genuinely presently feeling by looking out through the lens of the frequency of pink. And that's what I was saying in terms of our feelings. And our feelings can be kind of funky sometimes, reality. So we really have to have that, again, that personal integrity. You know, there's outer integrity, there's also this personal integrity to really walk through our own shadows and look to see, hey, what's really in my heart? With exploring the theme of forgiveness and self-forgiveness, I had to look to see, was I holding resentment? Am I holding envy? Am I holding jealousy? And over the last couple of weeks, really looking into my heart and seeing if it was there, and if it was there, how I wanted to deal with it. Just seeing where I'm at in life, in my relationships with people that I was encountering, you know? And you really have to have that flame within your heart to see really what's going on inside of you and bringing that into balance. All right. So, um, be open, be honest, be present, be welcoming, you know, and be true to you and to others. All right. But that others that you're being true to is being the true you. And last but not least, we cannot go into this without the goddess of compassion, because really that's where it brings us to. And then this beautiful card has the magenta, the purple, the sun, because it takes that solar plexus, you know, like all of these colors coming in to one. You gotta have a little bit of it all really to have this heart compassion, right? For ourselves as well as for others. I gotta be able to see the black and white, right? Past, the present, the future, and hold it in a present space, right? This is another birthday gift. Got a lot of synchronistic gifts for my birthday this year without asking, but universe brought me everything I needed and some of what I wanted to, and a lot of what I wanted. All right, I'm thinking this video is going to be long, so I will do a separate one with the crystal tones just to keep the video short, because I think this is going to be at least an hour. I'm sure I started sometime after 3 o'clock, so and then it's about 444 exactly, synchronicity 444. All right, so let's wrap it up with this last card of compassion. Yeah, and then I'll do a separate one with the crystal tones. All right. Uh, 444. What door are you walking through right now? On this full moon day, what doors are opening up to you right now? That's what I see when I see 444, that's what I say. What doors are being opened to me right now? Because four is a door. Let's see, 444 is also uh 12, right? 1 plus 2 is 3. That catalyst energy again. Mm-hmm. Breaking it all down. All right. So the Lady of Compassion, right? And I just held up these 3 stones, right? The Lady of Compassion. I recognize, I see. Did I say I've seeded all of my experience? A lot of what I'm experiencing now was seeded for me in, well, came to me as signs and symbols in 2019, and then I seeded it into being in 2020. All right, so compassion, forgiveness, synchronicity, empathy, acceptance, and unconditional love. All right, if this card appears to be the contrary, oh, sorry. know what this word, maybe all appearances, but they have it written funny. Maybe, ah, yes, all appearances to the contrary. No one person is the source of the love you seek. I remember we were talking about the seeker, and what the seeker is seeking is, there's a saying that what you are seeking is seeking you, right? And then another saying is become what you seek, right? Both of those sayings were very powerful for me on my path. And seeking love, I needed to become love. Seeking healing, I needed to become the healer. My latest request, I said I wanted to be a big giver. Whatever I'm giving, I want it to be in a big way and not so much in a material big way, but to it to be received by whomever I'm giving it to in a big, heartful way. Uh, so to expand my capacity to be able to give big. Okay, so let's just go there with this. Since I recognize and I seed, what are we seeding as we move into uh this new expanded self of ourselves, right? Tying it all into balance and forgiveness and stepping into being a healer of our own situations, stepping into being more authentic and in integrity and having more integrity as leaders and creators. All right. And stepping into the age of Aquarius, being being guided by Lady Matt, coming into balance and safe and secure relationships, respected barriers between relationships, partners, friends, citizens, government, whomever, all of our relationships. And remember, we are always in relationship with something else. No man stands alone. Even the island is in a relationship with the water that surrounds it, right? So there's nothing that stands alone, right? Remembering that. Anyway, let's get back into the Lady of Compassion. Anyway, all appearances to the contrary. No one person is the source of the love you seek. This oracle counsels you to recognize that divine love is the single source of freedom and realization of the divine self within. Recognize that in truth, you can't seek love because love just is. If you find yourself grasping for love, you're only going to get love with conditions. Consider that you can choose to stop depending on anyone outside of yourself to fulfill and love you. Receiving this card in your reading is a call to find the way to clear anything you have shut out or decided not to love in yourself, others, or the situation in your query. True compassion means you can choose to step into and empathetically feel another's situation from their point of view, offering allowances and acceptances rather than judgment. We talked about that earlier. Again, going beyond judgment and just being an observation and acceptance. I accept what's happening. I accept phones ringing just in case, because sometimes that mutes it. So I accept what's happening. I accept who this person is being. And with that awareness, with that acceptance of the situation, awareness of myself, awareness of the other person, now someone's looking for me. Not a good time. Now I need to have a thing on my WhatsApp that says I'm taping. I'm gonna start doing that. Don't call me because I'm taping. These are signs and synchronicities. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put on my status. I'm taping. Don't call me now. Right? So accept where you are, accept where the person is, make your decision, and make a decision that keeps you in balance. A lot of decisions that we make contribute to our imbalance and contribute to our suffering, contribute to our victimhood. So again, this whole mat and coming into balance and self-forgiveness and compassion is also about making the right decisions that keep us in balance, right? And looking at life in a compassionate way, because compassion will bring forth that self awareness as well as looking at somebody else with observation and wisdom as opposed to judgment. Judgment can get you kind of funky. It just does. And judgment doesn't mean that you have to agree. A lack of judgment doesn't mean that you have to agree with the person. It just says that, hey, I can observe this and make a conscious decision and move forward and be clear and unattached about it at that. You know what I mean? So I think that I think that lack of judgment allows us to be less attached to the situation. The observation is just that. I'm observing that it's raining. So because it's raining, I'm going to do something that I like to do during the rain. Rain don't have to be good or bad. Oh, it doesn't have to be a horrible day because it's raining. No, it's raining. Okay. And I like the rain. I don't like the rain. Well, this is what I'm going to do in the rain. All right. So it's like that type of thinking without any judgment. You just observe. Uh, so consider that you can choose to stop depending on anyone outside of yourself to fulfill and love you. Receiving this card in your reading is a call to find the way to clear anything you have shut out or decided not to love in yourself or others or the situation in your query. True compassion means you can choose to step into and empathetically choose to step into and empathetically feel another situation from their point of view, offering allowance and acceptance rather than judgment. To find that empathy, try visualizing the violet flame of compassion in your heart. The violet flame has the awesome transmutational power to forgive and release. And the amethyst is all about the violet flame. If this archetype has come into your reading, you would be served in recognizing that forgiveness frees stuck energy. If your life is not flowing without struggle, consider the potential need for offering forgiveness. Oh, if your life is not flowing without struggle, I think that's a typo. I think if your life is not flowing with struggle or something. Anyway, consider the potential need for offering forgiveness. But y'all get the point. You should be flowing and not struggling. So if you're struggling, there's some forgiveness that needs to happen, whether it's you or forgiving yourself or forgiving others, right? To fully recognize a thing naturally seeds the new. What would you be served in recognizing that you have been avoiding, resisting, or denying? Remember again, that heart chakra, we either embrace or we resist, right? So part of that resistance energy is causing the blockages. And in order to overcome our own blockages, because they show up and manifest in the body as diseases and illnesses and frustrations and disturbances, we need to step into a more open heart and use more compassion and observation, right? If your life is not flowing without struggle, consider the potential need for offering forgiveness. To fully recognize a thing naturally seeds the new. What would you be served in recognizing that you have been avoiding, resisting, or denying? If your life seems stagnant or blocked in some way, notice what you have judged in self or others, or what you have not forgiven, or where you have contracted your energy. Because remember, we want to expand, not contract. Wherever the pain of contraction has lodged in your body, release it. Love expands, fear contracts. You are being asked by this archetypal energy to love and forgive yourself. No matter what you think you have done, true compassion sees beyond the confines of your ego's prison's walls and thus lovingly holds the lantern for you while you chip away at illusion and breaking free. Remember to consciously affirm, I recognize, I see. And there ends this reading. This is the magenta code in all her forms. This is the path of the magentas, really, to connect it all together, to weave and to weave the dream of life, to see the signs and the symbols, to again connect it all and to be grounded in the present moment, to expand and to feel through our expansions and to expand through our feelings, to come into fulfillment and to be compassionate, right? And that helps us to come into balance with ourselves and the world around us and the relationships that we have. It helps us to step into who we are as the healer, right? It helps us to invent and create and to be authentic, right? It helps us to step into our greatness, and it definitely helps us to reach our higher callings. This is magenta rising. This is the frequency of magenta. And this has been the 33rd crystal message of the rainbow of the healer is forgiveness as well as coming into balance. And it's all really about the pink tourmaline crystal. So part two of this video will just be these crystal tones of the pink tourmaline and the messages of all things pink and magenta. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed this message. I hope it served you. I hope it serves your rising. And stay tuned for part two of the crystal tones. Have a beautiful day and happiest full moon in Aquarius. Rise, magenta, rise. Happy Lions, and I hope you guys had a wonderful Leo season. It's gonna end on a high note as always, and the next crystal will take us through the beautiful energy of Virgo. Bye.